That's fine, mine's in the inventory of the truck.
Alright, 111.
And once that's set up, go ahead and hop out.
Radio's on 111.
He's Air Force for Sergeant.
I can personally kind of vouch on this as mostly we use files a lot in Afghanistan. It's not a very good coalition warfare tactic, but like this gentleman over you Metzger stating that earlier?
Ryan?
Oh, Ryan, yeah. Like Ryan was saying, if you're going to the thick forest or something, like a jungle, like Vietnam or something crazy like that, like Tanoa, as you guys know here, that is used there so you don't lose sight. I mean, yeah, you can kind of do a staggered column, but you have to keep it tight so you can kind of keep visual of each other. Dispersion, there's no really minimum on dispersion. It's really going to be up to your squad leader and up to line of sight. As long as you got line of sight of each other, your dispersion's good. Does that make sense? Shake your head up and down. Shake your noggin. There you go.
Someone else over here on Bravo had a question, I believe.
Yeah, me, Matthews.
Go ahead.
Can you say it on the radio or just in...
Yeah, let's keep it on the radio, just since people are spread out.
Alright, what about staggered columns during inside downs? What about those?
Inside towns?
Inside what? Inside towns?
When I was in the Ward 2 unit, I taught my guys as well in the inboard staggered column, which actually is the right side's facing left and the left side's facing right, so you can look up the buildings on the second floor windows, because if you're stacked towards a building, you can't see the top floor.
Right,
that's why the other side would
that's a whole
cover your
different
rear.
tactic in mount. That's an advanced course. Mount, that does change like that, yes. But as far as more of this open, a lot of what we do is going in between towns and stuff, right? They're not really doing formations in towns. Pretty much when we get to towns, we're just going on clearing ops. Teams split, the squad split the teams take a row, and that's just how it kind of goes. Mount will be covered later on, because that's just a whole another set of trainings, you know what I mean?
That's a good question about versatility of, the different formations and how they can change given different scenarios, right? But yeah, for all intents and purposes, all these exercises will be handled as far as an open field will go.
Ryan has a question.
Say again?
I have a question to ask.
Yep, shoot.
Wouldn't a squad column be better for traveling than staggered column? Because you can cover more angles and you can kind of space out your ground a little bit.
It's the same thing.
Squad column in the Army is one wedge, squad leader, and medic in the middle, and a second inverse wedge on the backside.
Now, here's where I want to kind of put into perspective here is when you're getting these multiple wedges and a squad column, think of a player, a civilian player who's never been in the military and a video game versus real life doing it, right? It's a pain in the ass. The reason we're saying, yeah, we're going to use staggered columns is first and foremost is it's one of the easiest formations to do. A wedge is all good for like fire team squad size, but anything bigger than that, you're kind of going overboard in the game market. Does that make sense?
I guess so. I'd expect it would be easy enough to do, but like I said, it performs the same task in game, like you were saying. It really doesn't make a whole lot of difference in most situations.
Right, like in game, man, all these people really need to worry about is online, a file, and a staggered column just for travel and keeping attendance of your guys, or keeping knowledge of where they're at. Because once we start doing wedges and go through those woods and shit, man, people are gonna fucking wander off 300 meters. Where staggered columns just follow the leader. Simple. That's kind of what we're looking at. Not trying to talk down anybody saying you're dumb and you can't do it. If that's something you guys want to try, yeah, absolutely we can. But
I also kind of want to direct this at more of, what are fire teams doing, and when you're combining and just, your straight up squad as well. I don't know, it's just what we've always done, and it's been easiest for us in ARMA. Any other questions about the stagger column, files, or lines? Alright. Black, do you want to go over the wedge?
sure. Ryan, take point on the wedge.
Which way? Which direction want we going?
South.
South. Moving south.
Okay, guys, a wedge is an upside down triangle, just without the line on the bottom of the triangle. So make it happen.
Bravo team, we'll take right side.
Just take a look at your shack tech, try to make a triangle with Ryan up front. Everybody else who's not doing this, get out of the wedge.
User in your channel timed out.
Or, he's losing connection.
So this is more of a squad wedge. It's a huge fucking wedge, alright? To me, the Army pub says the wedge is their best mode of transportation, as far as that is their norm. So what the Army does is they move in a wedge. I'm biased, so that's why I'm trying not to really go too far on it. For those of you who don't know, I'm in the Marine Corps. I did 8 years, and I was infantry in the Marine Corps the whole time, and ours is a staggered column. And that's kind of my argument there. But a wedge, for me, Ryan, you may be able to touch up on this. Are you 11 Bravo?
I was a 15 Whiskey, but I spent a lot of time with Special Forces out there doing drone ops.
Okay, so for me, a wedge in the Marine Corps it's primarily used for not really knowing where the contact's going to come from, but you have a higher probability of it coming from the direction of travel. All right, so whatever direction you're coming from, but you kind of you give yourself a little bit more space on the left and right, just in case they kind of come on an oblique on you in a diagonal kind of setting. So that's kind of what my thought is on it. That's how I train it, Ryan. If you have the absolute knowledge on it, you're more than welcome to explain why the wedge is a wedge.
All right, so I'd rather can I just get the blue up on me then, up here up front, really quick on a wedge,
that's
so I can do it in a smaller scale.
Bravo, fall in so you can see what they're doing. If you feel like you're too far, go ahead.
Just line up on me, Bravo.
Yeah, we got a heavy right wedge going where the all rifleman is solo on the right side, and the other two riflemen are on the left, thus giving you equal firepower on each side if you took contact from the left or right. The reason why generically you use the wedge when you're traveling forward into a situation where you expect them to be contact front is that all guns can be firing front at the same time. And it's extremely easy to come online because all these guys have to do is push forward and come online with me. If we took contact front, it's the same thing as the column where everybody would fall in line and face front and fire back. If we take contact right or left, we instantly have 3 guns pointing in that direction because there's only 1 man that's going to be blocked in the fire team wedge. So if we take, for instance, contact from the west, if everybody turns to the west, we got 3 guns up with the rear man, the saw gunner, and me. Versus only having 1 gun down. Now in a column, you got all the guns that can fire to the side simultaneously, but you only have 2 people that can engage the front immediately. In a wedge, all 4 people can engage the front, or 4 people can engage the rear just by turning around, and 3 people can engage the sides. So you have more guns up in each direction than you would traveling in a column. So yeah, that's essentially it.
I kind of like to show you guys it's a diamond, but the Marine Corps calls it a wedge themselves. So if Muffin, if you'll take place of Jensen, you come here to me. Same kind of concept, but as you're moving forward, the only person shut off is your auto rifleman. Yeah, that's Army's argument is, well, you're shutting off your auto rifleman. However, is pretty much contact front, left or right. I mean, if they call right, this gives the auto rifleman a chance to push right, or push left, or get contact rear. Same kind of thing for the team lead. He can kind of push left or push right. It's a matter of opinion, okay, and it comes down to. Really comes down to Second Lieutenant Tiny and Captain Wobbin how they want to do it, but I'm pretty sure Wobbin wants to run it the Army wedge, so just giving options out there, kind of showing you guys all these different formations.
Also, as squad leaders and team leaders, I mean, be armed with the tools and train with your guys on them, so, if you find yourself in a situation that you think one is more relevant or makes more sense, use it. Let's see what else here. So I think another thing I'd want to go over, unless is there something else you wanted to go over in the wedge, Black? Or anybody else for that matter has questions on that? Practice on it. Oh, okay. And what do you want both teams to?
Yeah, just same shit you just did with stagger column. Contact left, right,
As one giant, two teams, or as one giant?
Two different.
All right, let me get an alpha wedge and a bravo wedge beside each other, east side, west side. The other thing I want to go over as well is in a typical Army fire team, you got your team leader, your auto rifleman, your grenadier, and your rifleman, right? So your team leader typically is with your auto rifleman, and your grenadier is typically with the rifleman. So make sure that you're keeping your proper buddy formations up as well along the way.
Alright, Banner, you're acting as automatic rifleman, okay?
Hey guys, make sure you're ignoring the other team. Okay, act like you're not there. We're just gonna practice down on the fire team level.
So who here is acting?
Team lead? Oh, he's
You're
acting, auto gunner, and
technically
I'm
team lead, right?
Yep.
So then you would have...
Ryan's in the blue team lead slot.
I know it's my automatic gunner, like acting automatic gunner.
Black, would your auto gunner be on the right or the left?
They're gonna be on the strong side. That's dependent on, you know, probability of contact. So you can do strong right or strong left. That's just up to the FTL.
Got it.
Punisher, move right.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, right. Go behind Panda.
Let's keep it at four-man teams.
I'm over here behind
Just
Panda.
if you're not in one of the existing teams, just be on the sideline and observe, okay? So
Wait,
Punisher,
Punisher
you're not on
team?
an
Oh,
existing
he's on
team,
team.
so
Okay,
just
never
go
mind.
observe, please. So try and
Sorry,
keep it
Punisher.
four.
Are you not? Are you not the point of the wedge over there?
It was that's Sparks, okay.
He is, but they already have four men.
Hey Gooms, take.
Oh,
you're
yeah.
gonna take, you're gonna take this team. I'll take the other, and we'll just run it down.
Okay. Go ahead.
Punisher
and
part of team,
crawl
or?
over there onto the
No.
sideline and just observe, okay?
Hey, from
I can actually
moving.
auto rifle if you want, since I'm on the side by myself anyway.
Alright, hey, I'm gonna be working here with Bravo team, so we're just gonna everyone guns out, keep them low. Alright. Let's go ahead and just, you know, start pushing south as a wedge, alright? Keep it at a jog, let everyone feel the formation out.
Alright, Major.
And then, yeah.
You want to go to 1.1.2 real quick so we don't get disturbed by blue?
Sure. Yeah.
Alright, everyone 1.1.2.
On it.
Radio check, Bravo team.
Give me Charlie.
Alright, let's do this.
Alright, take it at a jog, like feel out the formation, get comfortable with your spacing and how you should appear, right?
Copy that, Sergeant. Let's move it.
Just ignore me, I'm not part of the formation.
Same, ignore me, I'm just following along.
Alright, left and right.
So
spread
you're
out
looking a
more.
little bit skinny back here, right? So get a nice looking wedge, right?
Try to get a 45-degree angle on me.
Hey,
That's
Hat
what's
and I
next.
are in the center. Our dots should not be touching you. Think of it
Oh,
like that. Okay?
don't follow my dot at all. I'm moving towards you guys for a reason.
Okay, rear guys.
Contact
Sparks,
front.
Move a bit more to the right.
Contact front.
Alright, contact front, move it up.
So
Go,
you're
move it
gonna
up.
fall up
line.
on line. All you gotta do is run straight forward. Fall up on line around your point man.
Dot the
This
gunner, you
is-
have to move up. There you go.
Hey,
You
remember
have to
this
be
is
the first
training.
front.
This is
Right
training,
side
but
is
make
looking
sure
a
you
little bit
guys
limp
are
over
doing
there. Push it
exactly
forward a
what you
little
would
bit
do
more.
as if there was a guy shooting at you from the front.
Very good, very good.
Matthews, your eyes
Take
should be
it back
forward.
out. Take it back out into wedge.
Move it up.
If you are, out of line, feel free to sprint your way to where you need to be. Contact right. So everyone's going to fall up on line facing west. I want to see a line, right? Probably don't need to run that far, but that's fine. Alright, back in formation, please. Alright, let's keep it moving. Contact left. So, Panda, I think you'd actually... This is where I'm not sure, because I don't really do wedges, but I think Panda, you'd probably be back here, right? Because Knudsen, you're the...
Left. Yeah.
So the same way you do the staggered column, you just find the closest spot in between the next two people.
Penna, you have to be on the line. You have to be the fastest one. You're the automatic gunner. You have to fire first. Because you can fire multiple rounds. You have to straight on line to where Knudsen is right now.
So that's a good example of understanding strong side of a wedge, right? Your squad automatic rifleman, or whoever your auto rifleman is in your team, is going to be typically your strong side, because he's going to be the one laying down the base of fire. So if you have that guy positioned on your left, then your strong side is going to be your left, and vice versa. The other thing too.
Spread it out next time a bit more.
The other thing too, think of it like this as well. If you're confused about where to go online, basically, if you're all the way on the furthest left in the wedge and they're calling contact left, you're already at the furthest point. Unless there's like hard cover 10 meters away from you and you want to move up to it, but it's still in that situation, you are already the furthest up and you're pretty much at that final line. Same thing if you're on the right side. If you're the furthest to the right, everyone's going to fall up to your distance. Just like the easiest way to remember this is if you have contact front, you're never going to run past your tip of the wedge, right? Any questions before we pull it back?
Not for me.
Okay, same formation, but let's take it back up north to the area that we were in.
Let's move it up.
Should probably tighten up your wedge a little bit more. You guys are good with spacing, but it's probably a little much. This is an open field, so it's pretty okay, but I think Matthews, you're getting pretty far ahead there. So you try and one person in the formation always is going to set the pace. Typically you're going to have that be your point man, right? So if you're like way far off, you're straggling behind and you can't sprint to catch up, let your team know that you need to catch up, right? This looks pretty good. Alright, go ahead and fall in over there with the rest of those guys.
It is, and the difference is performance. You can pick whatever doctrine you want, but if it's performed correctly, if you have a really good doctrine and you can't perform it, then it doesn't matter. But as long as it's trained and performed correctly, you can change any doctrine into a good strategy.
Exactly, and that's one thing I want to kind of go away from in Arma is you see Milsim strive to 100% copy a doctrine, but you really, really cannot do that in a video game. And it's just not the same thing. Like, the enemy don't get completely suppressed, you know what I mean? They'll just stand there while they're getting shot and keep shooting back. In real life, you shoot at somebody, they're going to take cover. And I promise you, you hear the rounds crack by your fucking head, and you're not going to be poking it out, especially if they're tagging the wall right next to you.
What about, do you guys run VCOM or ASRAI?
Sorry, Major?
We do VCOM, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, that takes some of that suppression in there.
Right, okay. So, what we're going to do here is we're going to form a squad stagger column, and then we're going to go from that, and we're going to transform the stagger column on the move into different formations. Alright, it's not that hard, so we're going to start in stagger column, move from stagger column to online, go back to the stagger column, then move from a stagger column to a ranger file, back to staggered column, and then from staggered column to a wedge.
Back
Alright.
on 111, guys. I know we split radios on that last one. Everyone go back on 111. Hey, when we do this, let's just take him down the road, and we'll just use the road.
What's their range file or whatever you call it there?
Ranger file, just on file, like in a fucking.
One straight line behind each other.
Yep.
Okay.
Same kind of spacing though. So I mean, the staggered column will just mesh together, but you'll kind of just slowly start getting that spacing back in. You know what I mean? Pretty much, like the front will start running to get spacing, or the rear will just stop until they get spacing. So once we call, on to hit a file, pretty much the front guy keep moving. The second guy just stop. The whole line stops until you get your spacing. Then start moving again. Third guy stop. It's fucking pretty simple. So let's get a staggered column on the road. Alpha left, Bravo right.
Going back in front, Metzger, or am I doing it?
You can go. Who takes front, you or me?
Let's get Bravo back on point.
Alright, just move out of walk, gentlemen. Let's start heading south.
Bravo 2, remember to check your sectors.
Alright, we're just gonna file on the center line of the road, on the move. Remember, look at your spacing. You don't want another guy inside the circle that your guy is in shack tag. You don't want him in fucking the bullseye with you. Check your spacing. If they're in the bullseye with you in a shack tag, you're wrong.
Okay, you guys need to slow down and get out of my circle. Get out of each other's circles.
Hey, anybody on the sidelines, you can run up to these people and correct them if their spacing's fucked up.
Too close.
Alright, let's go back to the staggered column on the move. You don't need to collapse your spacing, just leave the spacing how it is. It's fucking great. Don't collapse spacing, just keep spacing where it is. Hey Matthews, I want you to fold this through that open fence right there to your right. Start walking that direction into that open field, the airfield.
Got it.
We're turning the column. Keep your place in the column.
The outside, left side, you're going to be kind of trying to move fast, keeping up with the inside. Inside will move slower than the outside. Matthews, when you get up here, just want you heading west.
Copy.
So we're going to go ahead and say that we're going to have probability of contact to the front. So we're going to call an online. Okay, so start moving online, spread out on the move. And once you get there, you're going to walk, but if you're not there yet, run.
So your front two guys maintain the walk space, set the line, and everyone fall in as quick as you can to that line.
Come on, Bravo team, double time it up front.
Very good. Fan it out, fan it out.
Contact front, everybody on their bellies. Say the enemy's on the fucking defense line, alright? Alpha team, Bravo team, take your guys and start fucking bounding. Take control of your guys. We'll pause right
Bravo
here.
team, hold
Alpha
position.
go to
Alpha go
tac
first.
1 and Bravo go to tac 2.
Team leader, stay on 111 and set 111 as your alt if you're a team leader.
Red, you covered. Alpha bounds.
Ryan and Matthews, if either you don't know how to do that, just ask.
Yeah, if anybody...
What's his life?
You know how to bound, Panda?
Bravo covers. Alpha's moving.
We're gonna do team bounding, not fucking individual bounding.
Hang on. Put your guys back on. Not everyone is here during our bounding exercise,
That's fine,
so I'm
just
going to
do team
quickly
bounding.
run you through the pattern.
That's fine, like Alpha goes while Bravo holds, and then Bravo will
it's
pass.
a pattern, guys. It's a system: set, moving, move, set, moving, move. So if you have a contact front, one of you is going to be the assault team, one of you is going to be the support by fire team. So the assault team is going to indicate that they're moving. The support by fire team needs to indicate that they have them set, or they have them covered, and that they're clear to move. So, hang on, Matthews, bring your guys back in line, please.
Bravo team on me.
Hey, everybody kind of stand up and watch me and Gooms, alright? Me and Gooms are going to act as Alpha and Bravo team, so imagine that we're actually 4 people each. Okay, so Gooms, go ahead and we'll fucking show this real quick.
Okay, so we have a contact front.
Contact front. Hey, you're gonna go out. You're gonna be Alpha Gooms. Alpha, go ahead. I'll hold SB support by fire on you.
Roger that, moving.
Move. Bang, 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 bang. So I'm suppressing as he's moving. All right. Do we know the targets are there? So we're gonna suppress the targets even if they're not popping out, so they can move and get there cleanly.
So I'm set.
Moving.
Move. Imagine I'm firing this whole time.
Set.
Moving.
Move.
Set. So on
Moving.
and so forth, if they get it.
And then squad leader calls LOA, line of advance, and then we'll all get back online again.
So what you want to keep in mind, basically, is you don't move unless you know you're being covered, and you always got to remember to cover the next guy.
Alright, Bravo team, skill circle on me real quick. Alright, since you guys weren't on the radio frequency, I'm gonna explain it real quick. It's in Sparks. You guys are team 1. Alright, I'll just call you guys team 1 real quick, just to practice. Anna, you stay with me, we're team 2. What happens is, when we are holding and then we have to bound, team 1, you're gonna move up, and you're gonna say move up. Yeah? Got it?
Yep.
Once you moved up, let's say 15-20 meters, you'll say set.
Hey, Black, get everyone back on 111. Just keep them all on 111 and only have fire team leaders talking
And
about it.
me and Panda team 2 will move up towards you guys and pass you guys again 20 meters. You will say moving, and then once we're there, we'll say set, and that's what we keep doing on until we are there. Once we're at our line where you have to go, I call LOA, and you line up back to me. Got it?
Yep.
Hey, everybody get on 111.
Alright, let's try that. And everyone go back to 1-1 apparently, so.
111.
On it.
Radio sec 111.
Gotcha.
Alright, let's try it out again. Let's try it out.
You join me on this end, though, line Sparks?
So once you guys have the teams gone over, let's get everyone back in line. Keep your spacing, but you guys can tighten up a little bit.
Now let's go. Line formation
out here. Bravo team, get at least like up to here where I'm at, right here.
Let's go, Bravo. You can all.
So you're doing this as team rushes, we're not doing buddy rushes, team rushes. Yeah, I know there's another way where you can alternate and do it that way too, I understand, but just for simplicity, for those of you who don't know what bounding is, we're just going to show it in a team aspect, as far as mass team.
So now it's Alpha and Bravo?
Yep.
Bravo,
so,
one team now.
everyone should be on 111, but I only want the team leaders communicating on here. So they're the only ones that are going to be calling set, moving, move, and make sure you keep your guys accountable, so you're set when all your guys are set, alright?
Roger.
Copy.
So let's say in this scenario you have a contact front, your squad leader is ordering your assault team is Alpha, so your squad leader is indicating that he wants them to begin the bound, and Bravo team is their support by fire, okay? Guns up, guys.
Bravo cover, Red's gonna move.
No. Bravo's gonna cover, Alpha's gonna move.
Alright, I said Bravo cover, we're gonna move.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Bravo, hold, cover fire. Bravo set.
Alpha, we're moving.
So all of Alpha, start pushing up.
Just do it, get like 25 meters or so and stop, don't go too far.
Drop on me. We're set, go ahead and move.
Bravo moving.
Hang on, other way around, guys. You're set. Hang on, Bravo, hang on. Pull it back. I want to hear the right pattern on the radio on this. So they are calling set. That's all you gotta say, Alpha, is set. Bravo now knows the next conversation piece that I'm bringing to the table here is that I'm moving. So Alpha indicates set.
Set.
Yeah, it said Bravo's moving.
Okay, now Bravo, what do you say?
Bravo moving.
Okay, and now Alpha, what are you gonna let him know?
Covering.
Or move, meaning you're good to go, move. So set, moving, move, set, moving, move.
Alright, Bravo moving.
Move.
Very good. Try and keep that line going, guys. Try and keep your speeds.
You're sprinting on this shit.
You're under fire, so assume that you're sprinting. You're expending that energy. So let's stop up here, do a set. Everyone hit the dirt.
Down.
Okay, your whole team is behind cover. Now what?
Bravo set.
Alpha's moving.
Move.
Very good.
Come on, Jensen, wake up. LOA on the fence.
Drop on the fence.
After you get set. So, squad lead's calling LOA on Alpha.
Alpha set.
Bravo moving.
Move.
Bravo set on the wall.
Alright, gentlemen, the reason we do this is when you look at operations, how many times are we covering each other while we're moving? You guys can relax, pull school circle on me.
Skill circle?
That means a semicircle, half moon.
I know, I was just telling my squad.
Oh, okay. Well, you say it to a lot of guys, and then I'll get an actual full circle around me, so...
The reason we do that, guys, is because in operations, a lot of times you're covering somebody as they're moving, or you should be, all right? Or you should always be with a battle buddy. And the battle buddy system is set up, I don't really know exactly how it's set up in the Army, but I know for me, it's your team lead and your fucking rifleman are battle buddy at all times, and your auto rifleman and your assistant auto rifleman is a battle buddy at all times.
In Army, it's team lead auto rifleman is buddy team.
and Grenadier Rifleman is the second team.
Second, hey, Ryan, who's second in command on a fire team?
Auto rifle.
Your auto rifle is with your team lead?
Generally, the way that we ran it was Grenadier, team lead, auto rifle, and...
That's just what I was reading earlier.
assistant.
That makes more sense, because someone was arguing with me earlier about that, and I was like, why would you put both of your succession of command together?
In the Army, those kinds of things can fall down to unit-specific training.
So it's company fucking policy.
In general, you don't put your two most experienced guys together in one foxhole, so you kind of spread them out, and usually your most experienced guy in a fire team underneath the TL is your auto rifleman.
So, alright, great. Awesome. So that's all it is. You never leave your battle buddy. Ever. Okay, so we'll get that shit lined up for Sunday for those of you who are going to show up. It's a all-hands meeting for Sunday night, guys, for Apache Company, for enlisted. So if you can't be there, make sure you say so in the forums. Make sure you pass it up to somebody.
What time is it, if I may ask?
It'll be 2100.
Okay. EST.
You can be there for about an hour.
But yeah, it's all it's going to take is I want to hopefully keep it shorter than 45 minutes, no longer an hour. Or in there.
User left your channel.
It's not going to be super fucking long. What else did you want to cover in this training, Sergeant Major?
We got through dispersion. I think just keep 360s would probably be another good one, just to harp on a little bit more because it kind of has to do with formation. So when you guys come to a stop in the field, what do? No matter what formation you're in.
Full 360.
Yeah, set a 360, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And is it always a 360?
Try to be always, unless you have like hard cover to one side.
Yeah, if you're like in a town, it's not going to work.
Exactly. So it's situationally dependent, right? Well, obviously, for layman's terms, we use 360. Even if you know you're only going to be covering a 180, usually just, hey, get 360, get up on, security, is usually what winds up being called. Obviously, if you just cleared out of town and you got, you got a huge friendly line behind you or something, you may not need to always watch your rear like that. But point I wanted to make is, obviously it's situationally dependent. Dispersion applies to that situation too, right? So make sure that you're kind of spread out when you do it. So just keep that in mind, and this is something that if you notice that somebody's not doing it, like you're moving your squad and everyone's kind of halted and you got your team leaders chatting or, whatever, if you see someone just standing there fucking staring off in space, just let them know, like, hey, get on your, your security point. Doesn't matter who you are. Try and correct each other along the way on that. I don't think it's really necessary to do an exercise on that. I think it's pretty...
No, yeah, exactly what he's saying. A perfect example is if you move up onto a hill, you just took contact. Contact has ceased to exist for a good 5 minutes now. You kind of eliminated, but you're still sitting on that hill. Anybody here who notices, okay, we've been sitting here for fucking 4 minutes, 5 minutes, and we still have nobody covering where we just came from or our left or right flanks, you need to stand up and say something. Say, hey, TL, should we get a 360 going? Or are we going to move like right now? It's okay to communicate. Don't be scared to fucking correct somebody or even remind them. You should never be afraid to do that because that kind of helps keep the machine fed. All right. So, again, if you're sitting still and you notice there ain't nobody covering all the sectors that, are possible enemy fucking approaches, then say something. Okay. It's okay if you go online and you're taking contact, like you just broke from formation, you're online in contact, don't expect a 360 immediately. You're sitting there for a fucking security halt or anything like that, yes, 360 all the time, unless, you have a tank right fucking, 30, 40 meters behind you and they're covering your rear already. You probably don't need to cover the full rear, all right? You can kind of do like a C shape. And don't gotta be a perfect circle. It don't gotta be a perfect circle. You can do a 360 in a line. You can do it in a fucking rectangle. You can do it in any goddamn shape you can. All it is 360 degrees of coverage, of rifle coverage. Okay.
Ashes, go ahead.
Yeah, what I did back in the day, my unit was a World War II unit. Once we lined up, we always had one guy cover the rear. Doesn't matter who, but just one guy, just to make sure no one comes up.
Always, yeah.
And
Absolutely.
another thing is, I never actually set 360. I taught my guys to just, whenever we're halted, even if he was just reading the map for 2 seconds, hold a 360, look around, cover your sectors, and they'll tell you when they're moving again, and then you just move up again.
Yeah, like I said,
That's
it
all I
should
wanna
just
say.
be if you're stopping and you know you're in an operation. The rule of thumb: if you're in an operation, there is no stand around and fucking stare at the wall time, right? You're watching a sector, no matter what. So if you are coming to a stop, the first thing that should be popping up into your mind is, what sector should I be in right now? And you just, look around you. Use your common sense. Your team leader may give you more direction, but otherwise, it's pretty simple. Just be useful and just make it a muscle memory habit.
Yes, matches.
Yeah.
I always let my guys as well, say what direction they're looking, so you know immediately. Okay, that guy's looking there. That guy's looking there.
Yeah,
I don't know
you
if
can
you guys do that. Or...
but it's what that comes down to is time management. If you have time to do it as a team leader, that's something your team
Oh,
leader
it's like
should
the
be
guys do
dictating.
it individually. So like if we're holded, I would say okay, covering south. The other guy would say covering west. That's
Sure.
what
We use Shack Tech HUD, so that might not always be relevant. You can if you feel like it is not being obstructive.
I understand
but
what he's saying. He's saying just coming down to an individual level. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
Hey, Jensen cover west, Metzer cover north, Muffin cover south.
Right, but what I'm getting at is if it's hectic and you're stopping, you might be talking over a bunch of people. If you're trying to hit the radio while you're doing it to say it, you might be blocking some more
I wouldn't say it
pertinent
on the radio.
comms.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Sure, but it happens, right?
Yeah.
It happens in firefights. It gets loud. People want to talk over the radio. It's just, I just think it can easily be done visually. That's kind of the point that I'm getting at. Is like, if someone is moving for security and they move into a south-facing position, look around you, right? If you're doubling down on something and something else isn't being covered, just use your eyes, right? Use your observational skills and cover in what is, not already taken care of. And you may have a more proactive team leader that will try and do that, but the team leader also might be preoccupied with, communicating with the squad leader or some other more pertinent, circumstance at the time, right? So that's all I'm kind of trying to point out is just, use your peripheral vision, use your observation skills, so on and so forth.
I will tell you guys, you're not always going to be in a team of 4. As the unit grows, we're going to kind of quarter up the freaking fire team. So you might have 5, you might have 6-man fire teams some point soon until we got enough to smartly open up second platoon with enough leadership to run it. Okay, so understand that it's not always going to be 4-man teams. You're going to have to learn to evolve with that. You're going to freaking adapt and overcome it. So it's not hard. It's just 2 extra guys, 1 extra guy, whatever. Just figure it out. All right.
And concepts, right? If you have a team of 5, your buddy team, one of the teams is going to be 3, right? So always try and batch people together, divide up, as easy of a visual sense as you can think of, right?
I never let one guy go alone.
Never.
Absolutely not.
It's really just should be a habit anytime, right? Like, you guys will hear this now, but you may catch me in the future in one of the trainings saying, hey, Knutson, hey man, I left my fucking SATCOM over there. You mind going and getting that for me? And then I'll watch him get up and start running away. Stop what you're doing. What's wrong with that, right? Trying to point it out. So I don't want to see any of you guys here falling for that trick, okay?
Yeah, hey, that's just core fundamentals building. All right, don't. I mean, some of this is boring. Yeah, doing buddy team rushes, that's boring. But really, look at the big picture. Look at the long run. Look at what we're trying to accomplish as a team together, and then look at an operation aspect of how it's going to come into play. Boring is fucking training, but it's the reason we're doing it. Okay, and that's same for armor. Like Second Lieutenant Tal, he's here, and the same thing for them. That's kind of where the armor kind of built their tactics. Obviously, it's going to be evolved a little bit for them. They're going to have be a little different for them because they got a lot more shit they can take rounds with. Tal, if you want to talk a little bit about armor, you can. If you want to kind of, does it not evolve a little bit off of this?
Which general formations, stuff like this. For
Yeah,
the most
formations and bounding and that kind of stuff. Bounding Overwatch.
It's a lot of the same concepts, just on a bigger scale and with a lot more terrain because they're bigger vehicles. But generally speaking, if you want to move along in a column and you make contact, you definitely want to bound and cover each other because your flanks are very exposed in an armored vehicle. It's especially important if you're two vehicles in a urban environment because you really can't cover your sides. Like there's just no way. So
The reason I'm bringing this up, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, is because you guys will be working with the tanks all the time. Okay, you got to understand his aspect. He's saying he can't cover his flanks all the time. That's softer armor. All right, so you got to understand that for them. Like if you see their turret pointed one way and they got no other tanks on the right side, maybe you should think about helping them out a little bit and covering the right side if there's imminent danger. All right.
User left your channel. User joined your channel.
Tank. Let your rifles look through your scope and imagine it to look around 360 like that and cover yourself at all times with that scope. That's what it's like. So, yeah, we need cover. That's why bounding is important, why formations are important, because it keeps everybody covered.
Oh, other than that,
Sergeant
Second
Major.
Lieutenant Tiny, you got anything?
You wrapping it up here?
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, there's really not anything else that I had in mind. I think
All right.
that's a pretty comprehensive work through of some of the formations that you'll probably regularly see your, team leaders and your squad leader at times may be the ones to step in and dictate that to you guys, but I would say, those are probably the most common ones that you're going to use. We didn't really go over echelon left and right.
User left your channel.
Let's not
Yeah,
get
we don't.
into that,
Yeah,
please.
that's fine.
They're pretty easy. Yeah, they're really easy. It's a fucking fire line to the right or the left.
Here we
Except
go. Well, then
sideways.
here's a question. Here's a question then, since so we won't do the demonstration, but can anyone answer when do you use an echelon? Or a
Always.
scenario in which you use an echelon.
You're expecting heavy contact to either one of the flanks?
Okay. What about based on a land terrain? Is there a terrain scenario that might make sense?
Moving up a hill, like a steep hill that you can't physically run up straight up.
Yes, very good. Yeah.
Moving down the hill.
Moving along the hill.
Also, another is when you're moving through a forest. In some situations, a file is not the best. You would want to use an echelon so you can still get eyes on the guy in front of you, and you're not in a straight fire line where you're going to get fucking lost. But you don't want to be in a file.
Yeah.
And real quick, Sparks, I'm marked on the map. Can you go and grab my Humvee for me? We're going to drive everyone back with that.
I'll go with him.
Is it
a...
First off, there's no way that everybody's getting in a Humvee.
No, like, this isn't even a trick. Like, Sparks, I'm actually asking you to go grab my Humvee. We're going to be bringing people back, so people don't have to walk.
Okay.
I'll go with him.
I'm kind of like...
Can't let him go alone.
User left your
What are we
channel.
gonna do? Ride on the roof? There's like 50
Okay,
of us.
alright. I'm good.
Thank you, Matthews, for calling that out, though.
User joined your channel.
I thought you were testing
that.
Oh, I was definitely testing it, but, I mean...
Shut up, because I was already.
I'll ride on the roof.
Let's get some 550 cord and everyone can just drag along.
Hold on, look in the airfield.
Got a problem?
why'd you bring me?
I've put my 100 meters of flight line.
Already done that?
Yeah.
Talf.
Did anybody else notice that Sparks didn't have a magazine in his gun?
What was that for a second?
He don't need a damn magazine.
Everybody's got their attendance
You don't?
set on the fucking...
He's a dragon boy. He's gonna shout them to death.
Go sign up.
Over here, hold on.